Let's start by reading this one. Based on genetic evidence, archaeologists have generally agreed that reindeer domestication began in the 11th century. However, since uncovering fragments of a 2,000-year-old reindeer training harness in northern Siberia, researcher Robert Losey has argued that domestication may have begun much earlier. So let's take this apart. First of all, we have the name researcher Robert Losey. And that name is something that we refer to as a long intro, such as SAT tutor Alex Torres. That's as opposed to saying something as a modifier, which can also be right. So for instance, the SAT tutor Alex Torres is nice. For the modifier, you'd have to be able to get rid of the word in between, and the rest of the sentence would have to be able to make sense. But for the long intro, it's just all the information about the person lumped together with their name. And by the way, this is not just for people, this is also for things sometimes, but all the information combined with the name as one big name. So here it's researcher Robert Losey. So another element of this is the idea of what we call the LeBron James rule. And the idea of the LeBron James rule is that when a sentence starts with a modifier that's missing the subject must lead the second part of the sentence. So remember, a modifier is something that's missing the subject, the verb, or both. And if it's deleted, the rest of the sentence is okay. So if a sentence starts with a modifier like this one does, since uncovering fragments of a 2,000-year-old reindeer training harness in northern Siberia, that's a modifier because we're not seeing a verb in there. ING words are not verbs. And we're not seeing the researcher's name or even the pronoun he. So there we have a modifier that is missing the name of the person. And what it does is it creates a lot of suspense, just like our sentence here. After leading Miami to 2 championships, there's a lot of suspense about who we're talking about. And now we can follow it with LeBron moved back to Cleveland. So since uncovering those fragments, researcher Robert Losey has argued that domestication may have begun much earlier. So the answer here is A.